Morning, 7th grade. Welcome to day 5 of week 8. Today is May 15th. So I'm going to take you through what you are responsible for today. Today we're doing an activity. So you're responsible to submit 2 things today. One will be the Google form with your final answers on it, and the other will be a Google Doc, which you can submit either digitally or you can upload a picture of your work or send it to me through the Google Voice phone number that we have set up, or PupilPath, Instagram, or email. Okay, so I'll show you where to find that. You're going to click on your classwork tab. You'll scroll down to week 8, day 5, and you'll see you have the 2 assignments here. So the first one I'll show you is the Google Doc. I'm going to pull that up right here. Okay, so I actually provide number 1 modeled for you. I'm going to model it for you on my paper as well. But if you notice, the questions are not in the Google Doc. So you do have to have the form up as well. So I would have them both going at the same time, or I would copy the questions from the form first, do the work, and then answer the form. Okay, so the questions are in the form right there. So question 1, right, looking at this picture, we see that we have a right angle. So that means that these 2 angles are complementary. If they are sitting in a right angle, then that means they're complementary, which means that they add to 90 degrees. So for all of these questions, they're just asking you to solve for x. So that's what we're going to do here. So I copied the same picture. So if I had to do this, and let's say I didn't have a printer, I would just copy the picture onto my paper, and then this would be the work that we would need to show. So I know that this all together, this whole big angle is 90 degrees. This angle plus this angle adds to 90. So I'm going to write my equation as x plus 49 equals 90 degrees, like that. Because I know that x plus 49 will give me the 90-degree angle. These 2 angles are complementary. And then we just show our work to solve. So we would subtract 49. Okay, and then x would equal 41 degrees. Okay, and you could do a quick check if you wanted to. I would just make sure that 41 plus 49 gives me 90. And it does, so I know I'm correct. Okay, so then what you would do is, since x equals 41 is your answer, on your form you would click here, right? That's your answer. And then you want to make sure you remember that that color to go with it is red. So you'll keep doing that, and then if you go to the doc, right, if you scroll down to page 2, you have the coloring page that goes with it. So you guys colored something similar to this picture before. Like I said, you can color it digitally, or if you have your own coloring supplies, you can take a picture of it and submit it that way. If you don't have the coloring supplies, or if you can't figure out how to color it digitally, then you're allowed to leave off the coloring portion of this assignment. But you do need to still submit the work like number 1 is modeled here. Okay, I'm going to take you through a couple more just to make sure that everyone's on board on how to solve these. So number 2, I wrote down on my paper again. Number 2, we're now not a right angle, we're a straight angle. If we're a straight angle, that means they're supplementary and that these 2 angles will add to 180. So I'm going to write my equation. I'm going to say, okay, 62 plus x equals 180. I'm going to write that here. Oops. Okay, and then again, we would just solve for x. So we would inverse our constant, and we would get x equals whatever this difference is. I'm not going to do that for you. Okay, and then again, you would go and you would pick the answer that best suits that difference, and then I would write down the color so that you know what to color all the number 2's. All right. Number 3 is a little bit more challenging because we have an expression in both equations, so I wrote it down here. But notice that they're sitting in a right angle. So when I put this angle plus this angle, we're going to get 90 degrees, which means they are complementary. So let's write those 2 expressions down. So we're going to write x plus 5, right? That's this angle, plus x minus 5 equals 90 degrees. And now in these types of problems, you have to do a couple of things, right? We have to combine our like terms. So the first one I see is x plus x. That's going to give me 2x. And then we have 5 and we have a negative 5. 5 and negative 5 are additive inverses. If we remember, they add to 0. So I don't actually have a constant left. You can write plus 0, but then we rewrite it without it, right? We don't like having that 0 there. It's kind of silly. All right, and then at this point, we now would inverse the multiplication that's happening to our variable. So we would have to divide by 2 to find the value of x. So you would take it from here, okay? So then you would answer it, and then you would pick the color that your answer corresponds to. So all the 3s, you would color that particular color. And then I'm gonna skip number 4. I can show you number 4 too. All right, so number 4, right? It's a straight line. So we know that these two angles would add to 180 degrees, so we call them supplementary, right? So I'm gonna write my equation. It's gonna be 123 plus 3x equals 180. And then we solve our equation for x. So again, we would move our constant, right? Okay, we bring down 3x, and then whatever this difference is, you would then divide it by 3 to get your answer, okay? All right, number 5 is the one I just wanted to show you before I wrap up this video, because I just feel like the diagram was a little tricky, so I just wanted to make sure you understood what was being shown here. So here is a bigger version of number 5, and all the computer did was they took what this angle is and wrote it on the outside because there wasn't a lot of space for the fraction to go in there. Okay, so this just means if I was to rewrite it, you have your two angles, right? This one is 2/4 x degrees, and this one is 1/4 x degrees. And we should know that these are sitting in a right angle based on the angle that is made by the two of them. So we know that this angle plus this angle equals 90. So I write my equation. It's going to be 1/4 x plus 2/4 x equals 90 degrees. And then we would combine our like terms, so you would put these two together. 1/4 plus 2/4 is 3/4. And then we would figure out what x is by dividing by 3/4. Now, since some of you don't have like the fraction capability, you can use the fraction decimal calculator link that we used last week. It's still in the Google Classroom. You can use that, or you guys should know what 3/4 is equivalent to as a decimal. 3/4 is the same as saying 3/4, and that would be 0.75. So you could look at this equation like this if you want instead, and then I know everyone's phone calculator can do decimals. Maybe this would be easier for you to figure out what the value of x is. All right, guys. Okay, I hope that helped. I can't wait to see your work, especially those of you that have the capability to color. I love seeing those pictures. They've come out great. Once you have all your answers in, don't forget to click submit, and I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. All right, take care.